You're now tuned in to The Twisted Truth with Corey Wesley, where everyday conversations take an unexpected turn. Entrepreneur, artist, author, and truth seeker, Corey Wesley is here to challenge the way we think, question the norms, and bring fresh perspectives to life, business, and beyond. With unfiltered discussions, special guests, and real talk, get ready for a show that's bold, insightful, and always a little twisted. Buckle up, because the truth isn't always what it seems. And now, here's your host, Corey Wesley. Welcome to another episode of The Twisted Truth with me, Corey Wesley. Why practice doesn't make perfect, and why it's never too late to try or to keep trying. That's what the topic is today. You know, we tell ourselves a whole bunch of stories and we believe it. And recently, my dentist made me think of something. And I was kind of taken aback because it made me realize that we have to stop aiming for perfect. And here's the real secret to mastery. Practice makes perfect. What? No, it doesn't. I'm going to debunk one of the oldest myths ever. Because as I was mentioning to my dentist, right, I was sharing with him about my art and things I was doing. He's like, are you going to have an art showing? And I said, I'm going to try. And then he said, watch this. And I looked at him and he said, I'm going to try to get out this chair. Right? And I looked at him. I said, okay. He didn't move. And then I started to laugh. He said, did I get up? He said, because when you say I'm going to try, it's already putting obstacles or even kind of setting yourself up that, oh, it's not going to happen anyway. Or you're going to try to move that paper over to the other side of the desk, but technically you really aren't going to try to do it. You just have to do it. I guess that's where the Nike commercial comes from. Just do it, right? So I thought that was very funny. You know, it's like those sayings like that ship has sailed. Why is it? Where did it sail to? Anything is fixable. Anything that you want to go after, you can do. I think we're programmed to say a lot of things that we start to believe, like when he said, practice makes, and I hope all of you are going to say perfect. I can't hear you, but nothing's perfect. And see, we've been raised, and that's when I had this big aha moment, like, oh, shoot. Wow, we are instilled in thinking that we have to achieve some type of perfection. Now, that's not necessarily always true because there's no such thing as perfect. As he said, and that was something my dentist also said to me, because when he said the practice makes, and I said perfect, he said there's nothing perfect. It makes you better. You know, have you ever felt like you've missed your shot because someone told you that ship has sailed? You know, I am very big on positive thought processes and the power of our words. You have to manifest positivity. You can't just say things like, I'm going to try or perfect, because there's no such thing, as I repeated several times throughout this video, is that there's no such thing as perfect. And you have to keep trying to get better. You have to practice. You know, I was watching, and God forgive me, I don't know what her name is. She's a new housewife from Beverly Hills. She used to be the CEO of marketing for Pepsi, Uber. She worked every high-end marketing job that you could think of. And she was saying that, you know, in the old days, we were told certain things like, oh, just let God take over it. It'll happen. If God's have, you know, whatever's in store for you is yours. And that is actually true, but you got to put some work to it. You can't just lay there, put your hands up and say, okay, it's going to happen. When is it going to happen? Not if you ain't doing anything. You got to get up and do something. So like I said, and we have to be very careful about what people around us are saying, because sometimes people say things that actually they basically make us feel like they add doubt to it. So think again in this episode where we shatter the myth of practice makes perfect, and it actually makes you better, not perfect. And that's more than good enough. I say that's more than good enough because, and you think about Olympians and anything, they practice to get better. Now they're good at their craft, but they're not perfect runners. If we all make mistakes. And I always say our mistakes are what makes us better. And, that whole philosophy, oh, that ship has sailed. If you think it's too late to chase a dream or fix your mistakes, you might be surprised at the real truth of it all. Okay? Practice makes perfect is a myth. Again, I repeat this several times because I want you to hear me that perfection is a myth. Why are you striving for perfection? That can lead you to burnout, self-doubt, and a lot of other, hesitation in following your dream. How focusing on progress instead of perfection fosters real growth. I get excited when I am working on something like my website and I keep achieving small goals. I see things getting better, there's improvements. And so those are the little wins along the way that I'm focused on. So I'm focused on the progress, not it being perfect, because there's no such thing as perfect. And again, it's fostering real growth. And then again, that ship hasn't sailed. Let's challenge that notion that once an opportunity is gone, it's gone forever. In real life examples, that's BS. I mean, if I had thought at, when something tragic happened to me that, oh my God, my life would be ending and I won't have any more ideas. Oh, this is not going to happen. And that ship has sailed. That's not true. As my ride or die would say, you're going to get a lot of no's before you get get a yes. So in essence, when you feel like if that ship has sailed, it might be that next yes that's coming when you give up. And so that's why you got to continue to believe in yourself, and then also, what does success look like to you? You have to kind of redefining your success goals, viewing each failure or a setback as part of the learning curve. I always say every mistake that I made is actually what made me better. I truly got better by all the mistakes. Now, don't get me wrong. I was sitting yelling and screaming and crying and kicking and all that and cursing and doing all kinds of things because I didn't think I would be able to fix a situation or a mistake on a website, and it could have crucially ended my career or my hopes for for owning a business if I allowed it. You have to continue to improve. I always say, when in those interview questions they ask you, I hate that question, like, what's some of your weaknesses or something? And I always just say, well, I don't have any weaknesses, but anything I do, there's room for improvement. I don't know if that's a good interview answer, but hey, that's what I used to say. And so changing the script in our minds is like identifying, we limit ourselves. We have limiting beliefs based on what we were taught when we were younger. It's too late for me. I'm too old. See, we be telling ourselves things that just don't make sense. Child, please don't be sitting up there telling yourself that you can't do something, because I have done so many things that I didn't even think I could do. But once I achieved those, again, this is where the progress comes. Once you have one goal, one gets achieved, the small ones, and then they start building on upon each other, you build your confidence. You become more and more. You almost become a superhero. See, that's why Superman. So, practical tips on how to challenge and replace those tips is, you got to crafting a game plan that balances realism and optimism. As I just indicated, celebrating your milestones, and no matter how small, to maintain motivation. What's one belief you used to cling to that held you back from trying? I would love to hear that. Why don't you put a comment below, share your thoughts. I'm interested to hear what one belief you used to cling to that held you back from trying. Mine is that ship has sailed, and practice makes perfect. And then I was always trying to achieve perfection, and obviously you can't achieve perfection. And I didn't define what was my best. If I figure out also, when you figure out what's your ultimate best, that's your perfection. But also know that that isn't a true essence of perfection. That's just that you have a understanding of what putting hard work in, what you've done. As long as you do your best, that's all you can ask, And so I wanted to just stop in because that came to my mind when my dentist said, practice makes perfect. And he asked me, practice makes blank. And I said, perfect. And he said, no. He said, it makes you better, because there's no such thing as perfection. And it had me thinking, like, wow, we think of all kinds of crazy things that our parents told us, all these sayings like the ship has sailed, and I'm too old, and oh my God, how are you going to do this at this age? Or, just, and as I always say, don't tell everybody everything that you're doing, because unfortunately they might have good intentions. But unfortunately, because we have our own internal demons and things, their comments may steer us in the wrong direction. So, as I always end off, I hope you enjoy this quick little episode. My name, again, is Corey Wesley. I am your host. Remember to stay blessed, because you're already blessed. And remember to believe in yourself, love yourself, and trust yourself. Believe in yourself, love yourself, and trust yourself. That's how you're going to get through life. Remember to like, subscribe, tell your friends about Corey, and remember to make a comment and share, because that helps the YouTube algorithm know that Corey does exist, and the Twisted Truth podcast is here to stay. Wherever you are, have a great day, good night, afternoon, and stay blessed, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today. Bye. That's a wrap for this episode of The Twisted Truth with Corey Wesley. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the show with someone who needs a fresh perspective. Remember to stay curious, stay bold, and always remember this: the truth isn't always what it seems. Until next time, keep thinking, keep questioning, and keep twisting the truth. See you soon.